Where the hell are you guys from?
Isn't it obvious?
So if you're from Africa, why are you white?
Kelly, we've been at school for hours. Will we be going in a classroom today?
Look, do you want to see how it's done in America or what?
Yeah, my name is Kalina Kourdova, and I'm from Bulgaria. I'm a freshman this year.
My name is Sarah Moseley, and I'm the class of 2014. My major is anthropology, and I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, but I lived in Singapore from age 12 until I graduated from high school.
My name is Shaquille from Barbados, and I'm a sophomore.
I really prefer the structure of American colleges, the fact that we have the small classes, you have this interaction with the professors. So I always knew that if I'm accepted at the States, I'll come here, and I got into Vassar, so I'm here.
I came to Vassar because I had family from the US who had gone there before, and so I had always sort of known about it and then decided based on my own interests and the liberal arts education that I wanted to come here also.
Well, I wanted a small school because I guess that is affected by the fact I'm from Barbados, because I didn't want to go from this small island to this huge, urban school with 40,000, 20,000 people. So I wanted a small campus, kind of suburban or not urban, because that's probably another big transition.
The most common misconception is probably that we are so different from them, which is not true, because everything comes to the fact that we have the same needs, we experience the same feelings, so we have a lot to share in common.
I think a big misconception for me is just that all international students are foreign and not American, and obviously I'm American, but I'm also an international student.
I guess a lot of people think that we're ignorant of the American culture, even though, at least in Barbados, the American culture is very much intertwined with the Barbadian culture because of the media. So a lot of people watch American television and stuff like that and American news. So we're really not as ignorant about American culture as Americans are about our culture.
Yeah, it was kind of a surprise when I was going to take a shower and there were 3 guys in the bathroom, but
people here hug a lot. That's something I noticed.
Well, most people, when I tell them that I'm from Bulgaria and prior to coming to Vassar, I'd never been in the States, they think it must be really difficult to go through that change, but I feel like I didn't experience difficulty with that because it was so interesting, and also I come to a college, so everything is kind of set for me. I have a place to live, and it's more exciting than difficult.
People kind of expect you to be really worldly and know different languages and stuff, and I definitely am not proficient in any other languages.
Being from Barbados makes me the kid from Barbados. So I assume the identity of Barbados, I represent Barbados, because I'm not from Canada, where there are several people from Canada, where there are already stereotypes about Canada. I'm from an island where most people never heard of, and if they have heard of it, they probably never met somebody from there.
I think a lot of professors are really interested and expect me to have a different point of view, potentially because of my international status. And sometimes I do, but a lot of times I don't because I am from the US.
Teacher, she'd like to ask me questions a lot. First she would ask everybody, and then she would ask me specifically to see if I had a different perspective than everybody else.
For them it's more interesting in a way to see our point of view because they assume that it will be really different. They might learn something that's specifically related to our country.
Seeing people make out in the mud, just meeting, that was weird. yeah, that doesn't really happen in Barbados. You would dance with a stranger, but you won't like make out with them, you know?
Because Vassar is kind of a small society, it's kind of a bubble. This changes the social dynamic a lot here. You feel like you live with most of the people, you see them every day, and that's very different from what I've experienced back home.
My school was, because the drinking age in Singapore is 18, people started drinking really early, and so the party culture was actually fairly similar, although in Singapore it was more about going out to clubs and stuff, even in high school. But a big difference is that in Singapore, you're heavily punished for drug offenses, so there was very little of drug culture at my high school or with anybody I knew, and it's completely different here.
The most positive thing about being an international student is that when you come to the States and when you come to Vassar specifically, you see so many people different from you, and everyone has a unique story. So, as I said before, you just learn so much about yourself and also about other cultures.
I was a pretty open-minded person, but I guess being at Vassar, I've become a lot more open-minded because Barbados is a pretty socially conservative place. So I guess there's a very, closed-minded way of thinking there. So being at Vassar definitely opened my mind to things.
From my experience, positives have just been that you have sort of different communities to draw from. Like if you choose to, you can be heavily involved in Asian communities because there are a lot on campus, particularly through the international office and also clubs, student-run clubs.
The negative is that you have to adjust to different culture, different values, and this takes time. And maybe sometimes you feel too different, but also that's part of what makes the experience exciting, I guess.
I can't think of any major negatives for myself, but I know sometimes it can be really hard to sort of get around and things like that, because if you're not at home and you don't drive here and you don't know people here necessarily or have family, it can be really difficult. And I definitely get lots of emails from the international office about people's visa, reminders about visas and all these things that I definitely am glad I don't have to deal with.
But disadvantages, I don't know. I guess sometimes I may feel excluded because sometimes I really don't know what's going on. I know when I first came to Vassar, I really knew nothing about American politics. That was something Vassar students like to talk about. So, yeah, that really made me feel kind of dumb. But I guess I just had to do my research and watch TV shows like The Daily Show and stuff like that, just to kind of keep up.
The academic curriculum is exactly what I expected and what I wanted prior to coming here. I'm very fond of my professors. I really like all of my classes. I feel like I'm learning a lot from every class. I feel like also the curriculum is very flexible, which is something that I really like.
The academic curriculum at Vassar is pretty much what I expected. I mean, it's different from my high school because we're more focused on sciences. So I guess I've never really had the opportunity to take art history or women's studies or Victorian studies or things like that. So I guess the arts are something I've never been exposed to. Things like drama also. I've always been more focused on history, geography, sciences. So there's a lot wider variety at Vassar, which I like.
For example, my parents weren't that strict, but a lot of my Asian friends had really strict parents, and so I've always been more American, and people would be like, "Oh, you're so American." And I think having moved back to the U.S., it is even more so. Especially most of my friends who go to other schools still hang out with mostly Asian students, whether Asian American or international Asian students. But here I hang out with mostly American students, and I think that they sometimes like will make jokes, or maybe not make jokes, but they're like, really, you have all American friends, like you're not international anymore?
Well, from what I've noticed when I came back, not really. It has not affected my interactions with my friends, with my closest people, with my family, but still it has only been a semester, so maybe after 2 years my answer to that question would change.
People seem to think I'm like so much more cosmopolitan, and I know some people may be jealous, or I find a lot of people think that I think that I'm better than them because I'm studying abroad, but that's really not true. I mean, I don't think that, but a lot of people may behave hostile towards you because of that, because a lot of people who do go abroad, they come back and they're kind of snobs and they think they're better than everybody else because they've had that experience. But I've made a point not to do that.
Yeah. When I graduate from Vassar, I really don't know what I'll do. It's nice to know that if I did want to go to Asia, at least I would have like a home base somewhere in Singapore to visit, and that's not out of the question since I intend to declare an Asian Studies correlate, so it wouldn't be completely bizarre for me to go to Asia after I graduate, but I don't necessarily have any plan to do so.
I plan to go to graduate school, but if I don't get into graduate school immediately, I'll probably work a while in the US because it's more feasible to work in the US, especially since I'm a US citizen, so I'll probably work here a while and then go to grad school eventually.
I still have no idea what I want to do after I graduate from Vassar. I'm probably not gonna look for a job back home, but I don't know if I'm gonna stay in the States or go back to Europe or go to China because I'm studying Chinese. So I don't know yet.